Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Vanna Prasad, research scholar in Forensic Science Division of Galgotia University. Today we will discuss about the heavy metals poisoning and its role in various lifestyle. So we will start with lead. Lead is one of the truly toxic elements present in the human body. The compounds of lead are more dangerous than the lead itself, except when lead is in volatile state. Lead, when inhaled, acts 10 times more dangerously than when ingested. Uses of lead. Lead is used extensively in a variety of products from ancient times. Lead pipes bearing the insignia of Roman emperors used as drains from the baths are still in service. Lead sticks were used as pencils but not replaced by graphites. Uses of lead includes lead acid batteries in car batteries, as white pigments in lead paints, coloring element in ceramic glazes, as projectiles for firearms and fishing sneakers. Because of its density, low cost and ease of use. Used as shielding from radiation, lead glasses consist of 12 to 28% lead. It changes the optical characteristics of the glass and reduces the transmission of radiation. Tetraethylene lead in leaded fuels as electrodes in the process of electrolysis mechanism of action of lead, which involves one on a molecular level. Lead inhibit or mimic the action of chemicals like calcium, which can affect calcium dependent or related processes, and to interact with proteins including those with sulfur hydryl amine, phosphate and carboxylic groups. Poisonous compounds of lead. The main compound that produce poisonous symptoms are acetate, carbonate, chromate and oxides of lead. Some examples are lead acetate or sugar of lead, lead subacetate, lead carbonate or white lead, lead nitrate, lead sulfate, lead chromate, which is also known as yellow chromate, lead chloride, lead iodide, lead sulfide, lead monoxide, lead tetroxide, lead ethyl lead, etc. Acute poisoning. We will discuss about acute poisoning. Acute poisoning occurs mainly due to lead acetate. The symptoms start immediately: metallic taste and burning sensation in mouth, dryness of throat and intense thirst like vomiting, cloaky pain at intervals but relieved by pressure, constipation, scanty urine, tongue is coated and foul offensive breath, drowsiness, insomnia, headache, vertigo, muscle cramps, convulsions and paralysis of lower limbs are there. The fatal dose: lead acetate 20 gram, lead carbonate 4 gram. Fatal period is about 1 to 2 days. Treatment. The treatments for lead is BAL alone or in combination with calcium disodium arsenate, or autopsy finding stomach, which may be from gastric mucosa, is congested, eroded and patchy in appearance with grayish white deposits. Large intestine may show black colored fecal matter, evidences of renal tuber degeneration. Chronic poisoning, which may also known as plumbism. Chronic poisoning occurs with a daily intake of 1 to 2 mg of lead. Sources of chronic lead poisoning: inhalation of lead fumes among persons working in factories and industries such as painters, plumbers, enamel workers, glass boilers, electric light workers and lead smelters, etc. Eating tin food contaminated with lead from use of ghee stored in brown or copper vessel may lead lined inside with a tin. Ghee become impregnated with a lead derived from tin that contains it as an impurity and forms an poisonous salt, which is also known as olet of lead. Food cooked in lead vessels may also cause absorption of lead through skin. Hindu married females apply vermilion, or which is known as sindoor, on the parting of scalp hair. Vermilion contains red lead mixed with red synthetic dye that can be absorbed through the scalp. Signs and symptoms of the lead, which is from facial pallor about the angle of mouth, is one of the earliest and most consistent sign. Anemia in early stage, polycythemia, but later there is anemia which is associated with punctuate basophilia, polychromatosia, nucleated RBC, and an increase in mononuclear cells of microcytic hypochromic anemia. Lead line, a stippled blue line called Burtonian line, is seen on the gums in 50 to 70% of cases. Abdominal tonic and constipation are later symptoms. Lead palsy, wrist drop, peripheral neuropathy, and foot drop, encephalopathy, lead encephalopathies is most common in children. The symptoms ranges from vomiting, headache, insomnia, visual disturbances, delirium, hallucination, convulsion to coma, and maybe death. Encephalopathy is rare in adult. Menstruation irregularity, amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea, renal dysfunction, sterility. The diagnosis of lead poisoning. In poisoning, the concentration of lead in blood is usually between 0.1 to 0.6 mg per 100 ml. X-ray evidence of increased radio opaque bands of lines at the metaphysis of long bones is seen in children. Treatments are most effective treatment for the palbism is calcium disodium versinate or BAL and penicillamine, and the autopsy findings, which includes blue lines on the gums, muscles are flaccid and show fatty degeneration. Intestine are contracted and thickened. Liver, kidney are hard and contracted. Heart is hypertrophied. Renal tubular necrosis is usually noticed. The medico-legal aspects of lead. The medico-legal aspects, which include metallic lead, is not poisonous, but when acted upon by secretion of the intestine and may lead as a poison after being absorbed in the system as a salt. First, chronic lead poisoning is regarded as one of the industrial disease. Second, compounds of lead are poisonous. Third, acute lead poisoning is rare and the person is usually recovered. Fifth, homicide by lead is rare because of taste. Sixth, accidental poisoning occurs by the use of litharge lead monoxide as the remedy for syphilis by quacks. Used as criminal abortifacient, the paste used on abortion stick contains red lead or red tetrarch oxide. 8th, cattle poison. Red lead alone or when mixed with arsenic is used as cattle poisoning. 10th, lead is normally present in all human tissue. It deposited in the bones, nails, tooth and hairs. Accidental poisoning, which is generally occur in the children by eating pica, old paint, plaster, feeding bottles made of glass contains lead, lead nipple, shields, toys and street dirt, cosmetics which may lead like face powder, hair dyes used by the mothers secreted in the milk can cause accidental poisoning in the children. Now we will talk about arsenic. Arsenic is a naturally occurring element and widely distributed in the earth's crust. When exposed to air, it combines with oxygen, which forms oxygen or chlorine and sulfur to form inorganic arsenic compounds. Arsenic in animals and plants combines with carbon and hydrogen and form organic arsenic. Compounds in organic arsenic are mainly used to preserve wood. Arsenic is known to humans since ancient times. The Greeks known it as early as 500 BC and Hippocrates used it to cure body ailments like ulcers, although there is no records of being used as a poison. This early and 8th century Arab chemist Jabir ibn Hayyan was the first to obtain white arsenic by heating realgar arsenic as has a very little smell or taste, so it is undetectable by the victim. Properties of arsenic, which includes the element which having number 33 in the periodic table and is considered as a heavy metal. Environmental arsenic is found in the form of sulfide complexes, realgar, orpiment and iron pyrites. The metallic form is brittle, and when heated it rapidly oxidizes to arsenic trioxide, which has a garlic odor. The non-metallic form is less reactive but dissolved when heated with a strong oxidizing agents and alkalis. Arsenic gases, which is ASH3, is another arsenic compound formed by the hydrolysis of metal arsenides and by the reduction of metals of arsenic compounds in acidic solutions. In elements form, arsenic is most poisonous as it insoluble in water and can't be absorbed, but when it is oxidized by exposure to air, it becomes poisonous. Uses of arsenic. Arsenic is widely used in calcium printing, taxidermy, which is known as preparing mounting skin of animals, preparation of artificial flowers, wallpapers, preservation of timbers and skin against ants. Mostly Hakims and vets use arsenic to treat rheumatism, skin disease, syphilis and impotency. Natural sources of arsenic. The sources which include arsenic are the average daily intake of arsenic in adult is about 0.5 to 0.1 mg. Arsenic is found naturally in rocks and soil in concentration of less than 1 ppm. Hot spring, minerals water, drinking water supply, sea water contains about 2 to 5 milligram per liter. In vegetables, fruits, grains, seafood, which is like fish, shellfish, crabs and raw fish, etc. In industrial sources of arsenic, industrial process such as smelting of other metals, applications which include arsenical generation of power from coal, geothermal sources which includes coal and combustion of coal. The inorganic compounds which include arsenious oxide or arsenious trioxide, which is As2O3, copper sulfonide, which is Seal's green or Paris green, red arsenic or which is known as arsenic disulfide, or yellow arsenic which is known as arsenic trisulfide. Arsenic gas ASH3 is hemolytic and nephrotoxic. Organochemicals, cocodioic acid, sodium cocodiolate, atoxyl, sulverson, neosulverson are there. The mechanism which includes the action of the lead arsenic. The mechanism of toxicity of all arsenic compound is the same. Once in the tissue, arsenic exerts its toxic effects through several mechanisms such as first include reversible combination with sulfur hydryl groups, reacts with SH group in tissue proteins. It interferes with the enzyme system essential for the cellular metabolism, which dilates capillary fatty degeneration in the liver, hyperemia and hemorrhages in the intestine, or which may be renal tubular necrosis. The acute poisoning of arsenic are which includes the results from the oral ingestion, inhalation, arsenic gas rubbing into the skin, introduction to rectum or vagina. Arsenic poisoning is usually the result of accidental or suicidal ingestion of insecticides, which is also known as Paris green, that is copper arsenate or calcium or lead arsenate. Pesticide containing arsenic is freshest source of poisoning. The toxic symptoms of acute arsenic poisoning also depends upon the individual susceptibility or the fatal dose, which includes the fatal dose of arsenic trioxide is 180 milligram, but the dose depends on type of the compound ingested, its physical form and the inherent tolerance of the patient. Now we will discuss about the fatal dose. The fatal dose of arsenic trioxide is 180 mg, but the dose depends on type of the compound ingested, its physical form, and the inherent tolerance of the patient to arsenic. The fatal periods for arsenic poisoning is about 12 to 48 hours, but can be fatal even within 2 to 3 hours. The signs and symptoms are the fulminant type. Excessive large doses of arsenic can cause death in 3 hours from shocks. Second, the gastroenteric type. This is a acute poisoning resembling bacterial food poisoning or cholera. The stool are expelled frequently and involuntarily dark colored, stinking and stained with the blood, but later becomes colorless, odorless and water, resembling rice water stools of cholera. Dehydration with muscular cramps, synopsis or feeble pulses, syncope, coma or exhaustion, convulsion or general maybe paralysis can be happen, and death, skin eruption are common. The symptoms which are caused by this are necrotic forms, tenderness of the muscles, delirium, coma and death. Fatal doses of this which are 0.1 to 0.2 gram or 100 to 200 milligram. Fatal period which include 1 to 2 days or differences between arsenic poisoning and cholera. Let's just talk about the treatment. Freshly prepared precipitates hydrate ferric oxide, or which is also known as arsenic antidote. In arsenic poisoning, BAL is used as an antidote, or maybe calcium disodium arsenate and penicillinine are also helpful. The postmortem appearance may be red velvety appearance of the stomach mucosa, or the chronic poisoning which is include the first which is known as CNS polyneurotic and optic neuritis. The second, skin finally which is molted brown, changes mostly on the temples, eyelids and neck, which may be raindrop appearance. A chronic arsenic poisoning causes basal cell carcinoma, liver cirrhosis. There may be a rash resembling fading measles, rashes, hyperkeratosis and hyperpigmentations of the part and soles with the irregular thickening of the nails is seen. Next, development of bands of opacity in the fingernails are called Eldridge mesh line. Arsenophagists are people who take arsenic daily as tonic or as an aphrodisiac, and they acquire a tolerance of it about 0.3 grams or more in one dose. Medico-legal aspects of arsenic are: arsenic is the most popular homicidal poison and it delays putrefaction. It can be detected in completely decomposed body. It can be found in bones, hairs and nails for a long time. It can be detected in charred bones and acid. It is sometimes used in abortion sticks. Tests for the arsenic detection, which includes Master's test and Rinch's test. So we will now discuss about the mercury. The mercury combines with the almost all elements like chlorine, sulfur, oxygen, forming inorganic compounds or salts, which are usually powder or crystals. Mercury can also combines with carbon to make organic mercury compounds, which is methyl mercuric, is produced by microscopic organism in the water. Metallic mercury is dense liquid and vaporizes easily at room temperature. Metallic mercury is not absorbed into unbroken skin. However, it vaporizes even at room temperatures. The higher the temperature, the more vapors are released. Mercury vapors are colorless and odorless. Though they are visible in ultraviolet light, mercury is liquid at ordinary temperatures. Mercury is also called quicksilver. It is a heavy silver white liquid metal, and it is a poor conductor of heat but a good conductor of electricity. So it can conduct electricity also. The most important and mercury salts are mercury chloride HgCl2, which is also known as corrosive or sublimate, mercury chloride Hg2Cl2, chlorine or mercury fulminate HgOnC2. Detonator used in explosives are mercury sulfide HGS, vermilion, or uses of compounds of mercury. Inorganic salts, mercurous chloride used as purgative, or which is known as mercurial ointment, ointment third, or maybe called as ointment fourth, or fingerprint powders, amalgam, vermilion. Second, organic salts are used in manufacture of thermometer, barometer, electrical industry, or fourth may be drug manufacturing or in agriculture as fungicides. Acute poisoning of mercury, which includes mostly due to corrosive sublimate mercury chloride. The signs and symptoms start immediately after swallowing the poison and rarely delayed for half an hour, which is acrid metallic taste in mouth, feeling of constriction, of choking sensation, or harsh voice, which can be done by mercury, or difficulty in breathing, mouth and tongue corroded and swollen with a grey white coating. Burning pain in mouth, stomach and abdomen. The stools is stained with blood, urine is suppressed and scanty, which may be contain blood and albumin, is accompanied by the necrosis of renal tubules and damage to glomeruli. The pulse is quick, small and irregular. There is circulatory collapse, the thrombocytes and bone marrow depression. When vapor are inhaled, the following signs and symptoms are produced, which is maybe salivation, gingivitis and losing of teeth. When injected intravenously, it causes dyspnea, synopsis, hypotension and convulsions, or maybe death may be due to anaphylactic shock or ventricular fibrillation. We will discuss about the fatal dose. The fatal is about 15 gram to 2 gram is the smallest recorded dose. The fatal period, which include is about 3 to 5 days, and the treatment of the mercury is gastric lavage with a sodium formaldehyde, sulfoxylate or BAL is a chelator of choice, or penicillamine or sulfoxylate, which is about 10 gram in 100 to 200 cc of distilled water by slow. That is why intravenous injection in repeated doses at every 4 to 5 hours act as an antidote. Chronic mercury poisoning. We will discuss about chronic mercury poisoning. The symptoms are salivation, blue line on gums, sore mouth, the throat, line tremors of the tongue, hands and arms. Anemia may be also be there. Shaking palsy is associated with the Hg poisoning. Mercurial tremors are also called as haters shakes, or mercurial rhythm is seen in person working in mirror manufacturing in firms where mercuric is used. Erythism is characterized by the shyness or timidity or irritability, loss of confidence, mental depression, loss of memory and insomnia. Mercury lentis is a peculiar eye change due to brownish deposit of mercury. Though the cornea of the entire lens of the capsule, it is bilateral and has no effect on visual acuity. Autopsy, which based on the mercury, are findings if it taken in concentrated form. Appearance may be similar to corrosive poisoning and it will be present. The signs of irritation of mucosa, membrane of line, lips, mouth, pharynx and esophagus will be greyish white, and stomach contents are coagulated, albuminous with mucus and blood. Mucous membrane is eroded, inflamed and covered with greyish or black deposits. The deposits of mercury and compound softening of the walls is so great care must be taken during post-mortem examination. To remove it, perforations are rare. Cecum, colon and rectum are inflamed, ulcerated, and gingivism is alive. For sometimes liver is congested with cloudy swelling. Spleen is congested, kidney are maybe congested, or there is a necrosis of tubules and deposition of lines. Heart shows fatty changes. Postmortem lesions are found in the alimentary canal even when applied on the skin or absorbed from the vagina or uterus. That's all for the lesson. We will learn about the heavy metal poisoning, and we learn about arsenic, mercury. So these are very dangerous, and we should not use lead as a eyeliner or maybe in lipstick. They are lead using, and arsenic, our products were there. So thank you for today's discussion on heavy metals poisoning. Thank you.